Assalamu alaikum everyone. Back again with another video. This one's China and India part 2. So if anyone remembers my video last week about the skirmish that happened between China and India, and then Nepal and India as well. So Nepal ended up joining in. Um, the skirmish officially ended on the 8th of June. So what's the date now? Is it the 12th? Yeah, it's 12th. So literally just 4 days ago. 4 days ago when the skirmish ended. So both sides officially withdrew, uh, and went back to their respective territories. Um, I don't think China's given India back its territory, and I don't think Nepal did either. So so first things first, I'm just going to talk about the cause of the skirmish. So sorry about that low battery. I'm going to touch on both sides of the story. So, India side is that China is trying to encroach into their side of Kashmir. Is trying to take the whole of Kashmir. Um, they say the same thing about Pakistan as well. Which is why they tried attacking Pakistan last year in 2019, because they see Pakistan as encroaching into its territory. Uh, China's version, China's version of the story is the fact that uh, India was building military structure outside its side of Kashmir. So for those who don't know, Kashmir in is actually divided by three countries, not two. Most people know about Pakistan and India; they own a part, but China also owns a part, which is known as Aksai Chin. And India was caught building military infrastructure outside Aksai Chin, China's territory, which led to a provocation by China, by Chinese soldiers. According to my research, according to my knowledge, what I know, uh, Jammu and Kashmir does not even belong to India at all. Um, the British have never actually solved the dispute. They never tried to. The UN never tried to solve the dispute. They're keeping it divided in order to keep Pakistan and India fighting, and to give India an excuse for its actions as a British proxy, British and American and Israeli proxy. Um, Aksai Chin, that's got nothing to do with India. Uh, China's not enroaching. China is not enroaching into Jammu and Kashmir at all. Um, this is all according to my research. Um, the provocation was actually from the Indian side. Uh, they're doing. They obviously want Pakistan's part. They also want China's part. So they tried launching an attack, or they tried setting the scene to launch an attack, which is why China retaliated. And also I think many people would be confused about Nepal. Why would a small country like Nepal join the skirmish? So originally last year, it was either in October or November, Nepal, India, they redrew their borders. So this is way after the skirmish between India and Pakistan last year, where Pakistan shot down two of their pilots. Um, this is after India started the lockdown on Jammu and Kashmir, where people from Jammu and Kashmir, they can't enter or leave. Women are getting raped, men are getting killed, homes are being destroyed. Just all sorts of madness, all sorts of craziness, which needs to be stopped. Which the UN isn't doing anything about. As normal, as per usual. The reason Nepal joined in is due to the fact that India redrew the borders, which claimed a part of Nepal. So obviously Nepal wasn't happy about that, and Nepal actually launched a trade war against India. Um, it was only the and when the skirmish happened between China and India, which I think started in May. I can't remember what date in May. to be honest. Nepal seen the opportunity to join in, join in the offensive. So yeah, judging by that and judging by the reactions of its immediate neighbors, India is not as innocent as portrayed in Western media. So with the skirmish, when the skirmish first happened, the Maldives, they decided to move away from India, as did Sri Lanka, as did Bhutan. Well, Bhutan has never really been friendly with India, as India is like with the Kashmir, always trying to take territory or lay claims to territory that's not theirs. That has nothing to do with India. East India, right, wants their independence. South India, the independence movement has become stronger. Also, during sorry, uh, shukran, uh, so and also during the skirmish, 11,000 Sikh soldiers, decided to resign, right, from the Indian army, and the movement for free Khalistan, which is a independent homeland for the Sikh, has also strengthened after the resignation of the Sikh soldiers. So so if India is so innocent, uh, and Pakistan is a troublemaker, why why are all these countries? Why do all these countries want to move away from India? Why, if India's done nothing wrong, if India's just innocent? Um, well, India actually suffered quite heavily anyway. So first, uh, the the breakage in sorry, I don't know the correct term, the breakage in diplomatic relations with its immediate neighbors has weakened strongly. There's been the push for independence. Many different independence movements within India has become stronger. Um, India lost at least 250 soldiers to China, and at least 50 to Nepal. Since last week, they've lost a lot more, but they're not disclosing the true figures. Actually, a lot of Indian soldiers committed suicide. So they actually, many of them actually jumped into the Galwan River. Uh, I I've sorry, I just find it funny when when someone starts trouble, and then when they receive the backlash from it, when they receive their karma or their punishment from it, they can't handle it, and they do stupid stuff. Like many of their soldiers actually commit suicide rather than fight rather than actually stand and fight. Um and as usual, when they went back to India, Indian media just right, is just telling complete propaganda, complete lies to its population. They're saying they had the whole thing under control, which is far from the truth. They were getting hammered left, right, and center. Uh, it's quite embarrassing for India actually. Um, so yeah, it's just th- I can't remember everything they were saying, but they were, yeah, they were just trying to make out like they had the whole thing under control, that they were winning, right? Or the least they were saying was that it was a draw, which is completely far from the truth. If it was a draw, or they had the situation under control, you wouldn't have so many soldiers, Indian soldiers, committing suicide. Um, so as usual, it's just a it's just Indian media being Bollywood, being typical, being like a Bollywood film. They're always trying to create this Bollywood style propaganda, so exaggerated, and they drum this propaganda into the minds of alright, of its population. Um, and yeah, it's just right, it's just hilarious. So okay, so one thing I want to touch on before I end the video. Actually, two things, but I'll try and make it really quick. I know so far my videos have been right stretched for such a long time. I'll try and keep it much shorter. Um, the first thing I want to touch on was sorry, I lost my train of thought. Um, so the first thing I want to touch on was the actual reason for India constantly trying to cause a trouble within the region, constantly trying to attack this nation or attack this nation or reclaim this land or reclaim that land. The main reason for it is due to the fact that, as I said before, India is just a proxy, uh, and the main reason India is being armed and funded is for two reasons. One is to contain China, and the other is to sabotage the CPEC project between Pakistan and China. So for those who don't know, CPEC stands for China Pakistan Economic Corridor. It's a project that started in either 2014 or 2016. Can't remember the exact year. And what it is China pumping in $64 billion at least into Pakistan's economy, and that money is going towards schools, it's going towards hospitals, it's going towards energy grids, electricity grids, it's going towards joint research projects, it's going it's going to towards motorways, uh, so basically, the whole country from the ground up, every single sector is getting funded, right? And infrastructure is getting built, which Pakistan badly needed. Not only that, it's right. Also, other countries see it as a golden opportunity, and they're trying to invest because Pakistan, believe it or not, is actually in the most, if in one of the most, if not the most strategically located uh, space in the world. The most strategically located uh sorry the most strategically located place in the world. uh so so it's a golden opportunity, not for the people that are investing as well, right, as well as for all of Asia, because that will increase trade. Russia's now joined in, so they decided to invest $8 billion into the CPEC, which is going towards railway lines, it's going towards energy grids, and it's going towards passenger jets as well. So so they're wet leasing a lot of passenger jets to Pakistan for them to use for the airline industry. Qatar is joining in, Turkey's joining in. Officially, at least 40 countries have signed on. Unofficially, over 70, and they're funding it. They're pumping money into all sorts, right, into all different sectors. And I read an article from the BBC. By the way, they're not gonna push this story. They're not gonna push the story significantly. Uh, but they will post a few articles here and there. For certain people to read. So the BBC article that I was reading was right. They stated that if this project is successful, it could see the UN moving its headquarters from New York to Islamabad, the Pakistan. So that's a complete game changer. That's basically the world government moving to Pakistan. That's how significant this project is, and they need a country like India, right, to sabotage this project. They're not going to do it directly. They're not going to go in themselves. Not going to go in directly with their military in order to sabotage the project, because because obviously that's gonna be dangerous for them. So they need another country to at least weaken these two countries significantly. Um, so so they need a country like India to sabotage or destroy these two projects, the CPEC project and Pakistan, as well as to at least contain China, because in a full-out war, yeah, they won't defeat China. They will get destroyed by China, but they can at least weaken China. They can at least deplete China of a lot of resources, and then if there's and then if America joins in, as well as if NATO joins in after China becomes weak, yeah, they can easily do a lot of damage to China, like they did before with they did before with the Opium Wars and the Eight Nation Alliance. If you know about the history of if you know about the history of China for the past 200 years. So so that's the whole game. Uh that's why India's receiving so much backing. Why India's portrayed as such a positive and progressive country, when no, that's not the case. It never has been. Right? Even economically is a very unstable. They keep comparing it to China's growth, but China used to have digit growth with their GDP. India's never touched double digits. The max has always been 7%. It's never gonna become a second China, or it's never gonna become anything like China. Um, it's still very unstable economically, and yet that's the only thing it's being used for, right? Just to weaken these two countries, right, and to destroy the CPEC. Because if CPEC is successful, and Pakistan will become the world center, the center, the global center of the world, and that's a Muslim country as well. And what was Pakistan's goal since inception? It was to become a major power, right, or the world power for the Muslim nations, and they were gonna build up, similar to the Marshall Plan, where after World War II, United States, it was given funding to all the European countries that were destroyed by war to build them back up. Pakistan would do something similar, but with the Muslim world, with Turkey, with the Arab nations, with Iran, with Central Asia especially, um, with Indonesia. That's Pakistan's goal, and if something like that happens, if a major move, right, like that happens with Pakistan, imagine the power of the Muslim world. Imagine how strong the Muslim world would be. Right. That's why this project needs to be destroyed. Right. That's what the whole game is about, and I bet none of you, or majority of you, have ever heard of the CPEC, or at least knew how significant the CPEC project was. So that's the whole that's what the whole conflict is about. I went off on one again. I will try to keep my videos much shorter and not trail off on my future videos. And also, once I get my laptop sorted, I'll be able to do my edits much better as well, and my videos will be a lot more professional. Um, obviously at the moment I'm doing everything on my phone, and I'm still very new to this. I'm still learning everything. I'm still uh right. I still need to get used to making videos, as this is my first time doing so. But yeah, inshallah, I'll see you in my next video. Assalamu alaikum.